Why I cannot hear any voice? Hello?
Yeah, even I cannot hear anybody.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's not talking.
Okay, yeah. Nana,
Hmm.
today I could, actually I was trying that flight reservation.
Mm-hmm.
I made it so many times,
Hmm.
but every time I didn't save that file, so it deleted. Today
Oh, okay.
I finally made the whole script of flight reservation.
I see. I did a project on the flight thing, right? So that's why I knew.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. So today, today what we are doing is today we will be discussing how to work with Excel. Now, as I said earlier, right now, this week we will be covering all the concepts like descriptive programming, working with files, all those stuff. First, we will be starting with how to work with Excel. I want to work with Excel. Say for example, this is my Excel and this is the data, test data I got from my business. Now I wanted to use this data in my script and wanted to write the status back. Say for example, this is my test data. So this is my test data and I wanted to write the status for each and every test data in my runtime. So I'm using my test data and at the same time writing. That means both reading and writing. So you have to understand both reading the data from the sources. At the same time, you need to understand how to write the values back to your Excel. This is important. Say for example, this is my data and I wanted to use this data in my Excel. I wanted to use this data in my Excel. Fine. So I told you like in the previous session, right, whenever if you want to work with any source, what you have to do is you have to create an automation object. You have to create an instance. That means I'm going to work with so and so file. Create an instance is very important whenever if you're working with any source. Now here I wanted to work with my Excel. So what I have to do, I have to say that set object, create object, and here my instance. This instance you have to remember. This instance you have to remember. That means whenever if you want to work with Excel, you have to create instance, and instance is this one. This you have to remember. So here what I am saying, set my object name and create object. Create object is the method, and this is my instance. That means once you create this instance, then QTP will understand that user is going to work with Excel application, and I need to provide all the methods and properties supported for this Excel application. So whenever if you want to work with Excel, this is the instance. Once the instance is created, that means what do you mean by that instance? Instance is created means now every time going forward, if you are working with Excel, means QTP can understand that okay, this is the Excel user is going to work, and this is the methods I can provide. Now say for example, this is my Excel. What is my next thing? I will open the required Excel. Whichever the Excel I am working, I need to open that. How to open it? Now I need to open the required Excel file. Open the required Excel file. Now how to open the Excel file? Excel dot. Now see, you can see all the methods you will get. Now you can provide that Excel path here. That means what you can do here is you can provide the Excel path here. You can provide the Excel path here. You can provide the Excel path. Like this. Now what I did is, right, I said that I'm going to work with my Excel. After that I will say that open this Excel. Now what will happen when you say like this? See, now let's close this. Now when you execute this particular script, now it will open this Excel, but you cannot see in the front end. The process will be run, and if you want to cross check that whether process is running or not, go to your task manager, and in the task manager you can check that whether Excel is running or not. That means this is the way to create the instance and then to open that particular Excel. Now I will show you like whether this Excel is opened or not. Now right, this is open, but it will not open in the front end. It will run in the process. If you want to cross check, go to task manager. Now if you can see here Excel, see my process is running in the back end. See here no Excel. If you observe here, there is no Excel is running in the front end, but one process is running in the back end because through script you opened your Excel. Like this. Okay. That's the reason that in the last session I told you whenever if you say that set, that means it will create some allocation, memory allocation for you. Always what you can do is once you are done with that object, Excel is equal to nothing. That means what it will do is now no need to go to your task manager and kill that application and that. Now automatically I'm creating the instance here. Now I'm closing everything. I'm clearing everything here. So for that clear, what you can do is you can simply say that set OXL is equal to nothing. It will clear all the stuff. Now, here what we learn is that we create an instance. Once the instance is created, we open the required file. Now, how to work with Excel? Once open that Excel file, what is the next thing? I need to go to that particular sheet because I may have n number of sheets. So what we will do is we will go to that particular sheet. How to go? Now what you have to do is whenever if you want to go to the particular sheet, I have to make this as an object. See here, right, you need to understand one simple logic. Whenever if you want to work with any specific file which is not part of your QTP, then you have to make that as an object. Now here what is my next intention? My intention is to use this file going forward. So whenever your intention is to use that file going forward, make this as an object. How to make this as an object? Set object is equal to this. Like this. So I want to use this file going forward. So what I have to do is I have to make this as a object. Now O file. Now what is my intention? First open the Excel, then go to the particular sheet, go to the required sheet and fetch the data. That means here what is my intention here? Navigate to the required sheet. My sheet name can be anything. Different people will use different like login sheet, home sheet, or some people will use sheet 1, sheet 2. Here I am using my sheet 1. My data is available in sheet 1. Here also going forward I need to use this sheet. I need to read the values from this sheet. So what I will do, I will say that O sheet. Now, say for example, just imagine you wanted to use 2 sheets from your application, or you wanted to use 2 sheets from 2 different Excels. Then what I will do? You can also use the same thing. If you want to use 2 sheets from like this. So when you want to work with Excel, these 3 steps are important. First, create the instance. Once the instance is created, open the required file. After opening the required file, then navigate to that particular sheet. These 3 steps are important. Remaining things are all as usual. Now, any doubt, let me know. Now, what we will do is, now I wanted to get the, now in the Excel, right, there is no question of your columns and all. Columns are fixed. So what I will do, I will get the row count. O sheet, user range. See, working with Excel is very important. The reason is, everyone will use the Excel for this test data. So as a tester, you should be very comfortable how to work with Excel, how to get the data from the Excel, how to write the values back to Excel. These 2 things are very important. Now, what I did, I created my instance, I opened my required file, I navigated to that sheet, and then I got my count. Then what I will do is, I will start my for loop. Now if you observe here, one more thing is, now what we will do, first create the instance. Instance is created, then go to that required Excel file, and inside that Excel file, go to that required sheet. I don't know what is the sheet name under. I will go to the required sheet. Once I go to my required sheet, then what we will do is, we will get the row count. I don't know what is the count is available. First get the row count. After getting the row count, now I will show you that logic how to implement that logic and all, how to read the values, and then how to write the values back to your Excel. All those stuff will be discussed. Here, right, how much you are practicing, that is important. So here how much you are practicing, that is important. So here, right, there is no points of getting that column count because columns are fixed here. A, B, C are fixed here. So there is no point to get here, right, there is no point to get your columns and all because A, B, C are fixed here, all these columns. First what I will do is I will get the total number of rows. So what I will do, I will say that first I will get my count here. After getting count, then what I will do, my first row used as a labels, so no need to use it. So what I will do, I will say that for I is equal to 2 to count. I will say that for I is equal to 2 to count. Then I'll say that I is equal to count, and I wanted to use in this application. Say for example, I wanted to use in this application. Let's add the required objects to the repository. Add the objects to the repository. So working with Excel is very important because you will use this working with Excel so many times in the applications. Without knowing this, it is very difficult to crack the interviews, like working with files, working with the databases. This is very important nowadays. Fine. So now what is my intention? Read the values from Excel and use it in the application. Fine. Now what I will do, first I will go to that first row. Now I wanted to set the value for this username, WinEdit. Now the application can be anything, just I am taking one example here. Now here, how to fetch the values of this, how to do that? See, first go to sheet. What is this sheet 1? Sheet 1 is already my reference is O sheet 1. O sheet. Already I took my reference. O sheet dot cells of, what is my row and column here? My row is I. If I is equal to 2, it will go here. And what is the column of this? See here, A2. See, always my columns are fixed here, A2, B2, because these columns are fixed. So what I will do is, I will say that I comma A. What do you mean by that? Go to that sheet and retrieve the values of second row. I means, right, I is equal to second row of A column, like this. This is the way to read the values of your Excel. O sheet dot cells of I comma B. Now, right, what will happen? It will take that values. Then what I will do is I will click on OK. Now what I will do, as usual, now what I will is like, right, I wanted to write the values back to my Excel. So if I am getting any flight reservation window, then what I have to do is I have to write the values back to my Excel saying that valid details entered. How to write the values back to Excel? Where to write? I want to write the details under this status. So under this status is nothing but C2. That means what I will do, I want to write under O sheet cells of I, whatever that I value. That means If it is second row, write the details for second row. If it is I value is 100, write the details for 100th row. But columns are constant. Columns will not change. Because in my Excel, try to understand the logic. In Excel, columns are always constant. Is equal to valid details are entered. Done. Right. Okay. Now, else you will also get error message for invalid details. So what I will do, whenever I'm getting error message, I will say that same logic, O sheet cells of I comma C is equal to invalid details are entered, like this, and then ready. Once we are done, then make sure that your application is ready for the next iteration, like this. Like this. Okay. Let me go through the script once again before executing, and then I will execute. So here today, right, we are learning how to work with Excel. Now, when you want to work with Excel or any say for example in your QTP, if you want to work with any third-party things which is not built into your QTP, which is not available in QTP, then what you have to do is you have to create a automation object. That means you have to say that I am going to work with so and so file. Then QTP will immediately provide you all the methods and properties for the user. So now, right, if I want to work with my Excel, I have to create the instance. When you want to create any instance, use that create object method. And if you want to create any object, use set method, and you can use one reference. This reference can be anything. Now this you have to remember. See here, right, when I say that Excel.application, what do you mean by that? I'm going to work with my Excel. That is, this is the instance for my Excel. And say for example, if you want to work with your databases, for databases that instance may vary, instance will change. I will talk about that later. If you want to work with your files, then my instance will change. If I want to work with my keystrokes or mouse clicks, then my instance will change. Everything will be same, only instance will change. Instance is nothing but now I'm going to work with my Excel. So if I want to work with my Excel, this is the instance. I will say that create object Excel.application. Once instance is created, now I will try to write my logic. What is my next step? I need to open my Excel. So I will say that OXL workbooks.open and give the path of that Excel file, and it will open your Excel. And the Excel will not open in the front end, it will be open in the back end, and it will run as a process. Now I want to use this file going forward. So whenever if you want to use that objects going forward, then always create that as an object. Now I will say set O file, and I will select, because right, I wanted to get some data from this Excel. So I have to make this as an object. Once it is done, then what I have to do? I have to go to my particular sheet. Then I will say that O file, worksheet, sheet 1. And also here also I wanted to use the sheet 1 going forward. That's why I said that sheet 1. Now I'll say that set O sheet. These three steps are important to work with Excel. Now once this is done, I want to get the count of that particular Excel file, row count. Here Excel columns, right? No need to get the columns because the columns are fixed. There is no point to get that columns now. Then what I will do? I will say that for I is equal to 2 to count. Here I am using I is equal to 2 to count. The reason is first row of my Excel is headers, so I don't want to use that. Then I is equal to 2 to count. Then go to first value, first row. Then get the values, use in your application. Click on OK. And if you are getting home page, valid details. And if I am getting my error message, invalid details, I am writing into my Excel. Once I am done, what I have to do is here, now I will save the file. Save the file, close the file, then O sheet is equal to nothing. O sheet is equal, and everything you have to clear. That's always a good practice. Once you are done with the object and you don't want to use that object anymore, always it is a better practice, right? See, I used all these objects in my script. Once I am done with that objects, then always it is a good practice to say that all the objects is equal to nothing. When you say that the object is equal to nothing, then QTP will remove that memory allocations. Now let me execute. This is how to work with your Excel. Now, right, how much you are practicing, that is important, because working with Excel is very, very important. You have to do a lot of practice on this, but try to understand the logic. If you understand the logic, things will be easy. So what we will do is, we will go to the Excel, read the data, and enter in the file, enter in the application. Once we are done with the first row, then go to the second row, third row, fourth row, and so on. And also what we are doing is that we are writing the values for each and every row. This is how to work with Excel. Please do practice on this. Today, right, completely focus on this only, like how to work with Excel, because this is very important. Try to understand and then try to read the values, try to use that values, and try to write the values back to Excel. Because data table, right, we have some limitations, like you have to convert that Excel to 97 2003 and import it. But here you can directly connect to that required Excel. Now let's see, I will show you that Excel now. Now I will show that Excel. See how nicely it has it done. Like this. Tell me any doubt in this? Any doubt here? Are we good? Tell me any doubt here. This is how to work with my Excel. Okay, this is how I can work with my Excel. Let me know if you have any doubts. I ping the entire script here in your chart window. Any doubts here? Let's go through this script once again and let me know if you have any doubts here. Okay. If you want to work with Excel, just create the instance, and instance name is excel.application. And here my excel.application is the instance name here. Once this instance is created, then you can go to that required Excel. Here, right, the Excel I'm saying that book one dot whatever. But if you want to create your own Excel, yeah, you can do that. Any Excel you can open from here. Open that required Excel. Once you open the required Excel, then open that required sheet, because right, my sheet will be different. That means here, if you observe here, I'm using sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. But some people, what they will do, they will say that login. You can use anything. Just in that case, what I will do, I will go here instead of sheet 1, I will say that login. So you can use worksheet sheet 1, and then you can get the count. I don't know how many rows are used here. Just write the script so that it will get the count here. Once you get the count, then I will start my for loop. I is equal to, actually we are supposed to use I is equal to 1, but here, right, the first row is like headers. There is no point to use that headers. So what I will do is, instead of using my first row, while writing the script, I will say that I is equal to 2 to count. I is equal to 2 to count, and what I will do is, first I will get the first row details here, first row details, and click on OK. And if I am getting my home page, I will say that valid data, and if I am getting my error page, I will write the details back to my Excel saying that invalid details. And once I am done, I will save my Excel, close the Excel, and clear all the objects. This is your Excel. Tell me any doubts? Clear? Okay. Fine. So you have to do your practice like, see, you want to repeat one more example, right? Same thing you can do now. Say for example, right, if you want to repeat one example, for me nothing. So say for example, right, I want to, you are asking, right, I want to repeat one more example. So what I will do is, Say for example, I want to use this data, just imagine, right? I want to use this data, just imagine. So what I will do, you are saying that I want to repeat. So what I will do, I want to use a different. So set, for me, same thing. O file sheet 2. Now instead of using this, instead of using this reference, now what I will do, I will use this reference. So there is no difference. Only thing is, right, what we are doing is just changing the reference. That's it, right? Now you got it. Everything is same. Now here I don't want to use O sheet. Just a reference changes. Yes. Yes, Shipra. You need to understand the logic and all, like how to read the values and how to write the values back to your Excel. Okay. Now what you need to do is give it a try. Take one Excel. Take one Excel, and then in that Excel fill with your data. Take any example, whatever may be the example. Take the example. Try to read the values from that Excel. Once you are done with that reading, try to write the values back to your Excel. Give it a try today, and then like let me know like if you stuck up somewhere or if you are facing any issues, right? Just drop me an email, right? I will help you. You can give it a try today. Okay. You can concentrate on this Excel only today. Okay, fine. And also I pinged you the script already. Just go through the script. Because right next I will go with a different thing, like I will go with working with files, working with databases. So if you are clear with this, right, then it will be even clear with other topics, like working with databases will be easy when you know about your automation object model. Anyway, fine then. Okay. I will ping you that script once again. Yeah, interview and all I will tell you. I will tell you Shipra on Saturday. Right, Saturday will be our last session. Right, on that day I will tell you like how to, what kind of questions you may face in interview. I will tell you both manual as well as QTP. I will tell you on Saturday. Saturday I will take 2 hour session. First 1 hour we will be finishing our course. Then 1 hour, right, what I will do is I will discuss on the questions. I will give you what kind of questions you will face in your interviews. Okay, fine then. Okay, fine. Just do your practice and let me know for any issues. Okay, thank you.